Okay, let's talk about that first month with a newborn. It can feel like an absolute whirlwind, right? You're constantly asking yourself, are they eating enough, sleeping enough? Are they doing enough? Well, today, we're going to demystify this incredible period. We're going to break down what's really happening with your baby's growth and development. Let's just start with what might be the single most important thing to remember. It's summed up perfectly by pediatrician Dr. Mahesh Yadav. He says, this first month, it's a period of adjustment, not performance. This isn't about hitting targets or checking off boxes on some list. It's about a massive, huge transition for your baby, from the cozy world of the womb to, well, everything else. So yeah, our first section is built completely around that one idea. Think about it. This whole month is your baby's big adaptation phase. They're learning to breathe air for the first time, eat by mouth. They're processing a whole new world of light and sound. That's a huge job, and it's definitely a gradual one. Okay, so to really get a handle on this adjustment period, it helps to split it into two big buckets. On one side, you've got physical growth, the measurable stuff like weight and length. And on the other side, you've got development. But here's the key. In this first month, development is almost totally driven by these instinctual, automatic reflexes. So let's tackle growth first.
And this is where so many of us parents focus, right? We're just looking for those reassuring numbers on the scale. But the story of physical growth in that first month, well, it has a little bit of a plot twist right at the very beginning.
And what's that plot twist? It's that it is completely 100% normal for newborns to lose weight in their first week. Yeah, lose it, sometimes up to 10% of their birth weight. And I know, seeing that number go down can feel so alarming. But trust me, it's an expected and totally healthy part of the process. So, why does that happen? Well, it's actually pretty simple. Two main reasons. First, your baby is just getting rid of some excess fluid they were carrying from their time in the womb. And second, let's be real, both you and your baby are still figuring out this whole feeding thing. It takes a little time to get coordinated, to get a good milk supply established. It's a team effort. But don't worry, because after that little initial dip comes the rebound. Most babies are right back to their birth weight by about 2 weeks old. And after that, they start packing on around 20 to 30 grams a day. So here's the most important thing to remember, okay? It's the overall trend, that nice, steady upward curve that matters so much more than any single number on any one day. All right, so that's physical growth. Now let's switch gears and talk about development. And when we say development at this age, we don't mean they're learning skills, not yet. What it really means is that their brain and their nervous system are working exactly as they should be. And the way we see this is through a series of these really fascinating involuntary reflexes. Yeah, these are called primitive reflexes. They're just automatic movements your baby makes without even thinking about it. And they might seem kind of random, but they are anything but. They're actually powerful signs that their nervous system is healthy and developing exactly as planned. They're supposed to be there.
And this is so cool, because you're probably seeing these things at home right now. You know that sudden flinging out of their arms when they get startled? That's the Moro reflex. Or that crazy strong grip they have on your finger. That's the grasping reflex. Even stuff like a wobbly head and those little clenched fists, they're not signs of weakness at all. They're just signs of exactly where they should be in their development.
And here's what's amazing. While their movements are all reflexive, their senses are already tuning right into you. Their vision is sharpest at about the distance from your arms to your face when you're feeding them. Isn't that incredible? And they already recognize their mother's voice and smell right from birth. They are calmed by what's familiar. They're literally wired to connect with you. Which, of course, brings us to the big question, the one on almost every new parent's mind. You're spending all this time just gazing at them, right? So, should they be smiling back at you yet? So, the short answer is probably not in a social way, not just yet. You'll definitely see these little smirks and smiles, especially when they're sleeping, but those are reflex-driven. That true interactive social smile, the one that just completely melts your heart, that usually makes its grand debut a little later, somewhere around 6 to 8 weeks. Okay, and all of this, the weight, the reflexes, the smiles, it all leads us to one of the most vital messages we have today. And it's this: in the world of newborns, the range of what is considered normal is just absolutely massive.
Seriously, if you take away only one thing from all of this, let it be this quote: consistency matters more than comparison. Just focus on your baby's own consistent patterns, not on how they stack up against your friend's baby or some chart you found online at 3 a.m. Every single baby follows their own unique timeline.
Let me give you a perfect example of what that really means. A baby who is consistently chilling out on the 25th percentile for weight
just following their own steady growth curve, can be just as healthy, perfectly healthy, as a baby in the 90th percentile. The pattern is the key, not their ranking.
So, okay, knowing all that, what should you actually be focusing on? Let's get practical and talk about what your baby truly needs from you during this super foundational first month.
First off, let's just get clear on when it's a good idea to seek professional advice. Now, these are not things to panic about, okay? But they are important signs to look for that definitely warrant a call to your doctor. We're talking about things like not getting back to that birth weight by 2 weeks, or if feeding just seems consistently weak. Always trust your gut, but use these clear flags as a helpful guide.
And what I love about this is just how simple it makes things. Focus your energy here, on this side, feeding your baby when they're hungry, making sure they have a safe place to sleep, and going to your checkups. And then try to actively avoid this stuff on this side, comparing your baby to others, forcing some rigid schedule, and for goodness sakes, avoid falling down the rabbit hole of online symptom checkers. We've all been there.
You know, this brings us back to another really profound idea. Your job this month, it isn't to be a trainer or a scheduler. Your main job is simply to be a source of comfort and security. Think about it. Every single time you respond to their needs, you are teaching them that the world is a safe, reliable, and loving place.
And that feeling of safety, it's not just some nice, fluffy concept. It is the literal foundation that all future learning and development is built on. Those quiet moments, the holding, the soothing, you are actively building your baby's brain.
And so that leaves us with one last thought to really sit with. In a world that is always pushing us to do more, to optimize everything, to achieve, what if, for this one incredibly precious month, the most powerful and productive thing you can possibly do for your baby's development is to simply be present, to respond, to hold, and to just be?